It has been a horrifying few days for police officers and their families in New York and Houston. This past weekend, police in those cities were shot in the line of duty. 2 officers were killed, another was seriously wounded. Shootings of police officers becoming all too common in America. These tragic incidents are being met with a disturbing amount of indifference in the media, as if this should all somehow be accepted as part of the risk of doing the job. The Washington Post, for example, keeps a tracker of every person shot and killed by police. But you know what they don't keep? A tracker of every police officer killed by a civilian. In Southwest Houston, during the early hours of Sunday morning, Harris County Police Department Corporal Charles Galloway was shot to death while conducting a traffic stop. Authorities say the suspect got out of his Toyota Avalon and immediately fired a, quote, assault-type weapon at Corporal Galloway while he was seated in his patrol car, striking him multiple times. The suspect drove away and remains at large. And by the way, if you know anything about that, please call the police department. Corporal Galloway was rushed to the hospital, but shortly after was pronounced dead. Here in New York City on Friday, NYPD officers Jason Rivera and Wilbert Mora responded to a domestic violence call involving a mother and her adult son. Rivera and Mora walked down a hallway when the son, LaShawn McNeil, came out from the bedroom and opened fire on both officers before being gunned down himself by a third officer on the scene. 27-year-old Mora is currently fighting for his life at Harlem Hospital, and Officer Jason Rivera was pronounced dead. He was 22 years old. The NYPD, neighboring police departments, and the local residents spent the weekend mourning a man beloved by his colleagues and his community as police from departments all over the region lined the streets to pay tribute. NYPD Commissioner Keechant Sewell touched on a huge reason why this was so tragic. Jason Rivera was killed for doing his job.
Tonight, a 22-year-old son, husband, officer, and friend was killed because he did what we asked him to do. I am struggling to find the words to express the tragedy we are enduring.
So am I. Few words come to mind. Infuriating, unacceptable, maddening. But perhaps the most tragic words, all too common. Police officers are being intentionally killed in the line of duty at a higher rate than they have been in more than a quarter of a century. 73 officers were killed last year, excluding the 9/11 attacks. That's the most since 1995. Now, that ought to be a huge story. But there won't be mass protests in the street. There won't be breathless media coverage. There won't be ongoing outrage. There's been some coverage of the shootings. There has. And it has been sympathetic. But it is generally lumped in with gun violence coverage as opposed to assassination of police officers coverage. Few seem to want to just stand up for the people who stand up for us and scream from the mountaintops that this needs to end and we need to care. We need to care. I want to know what we can do to deal with this. We can't end it. But how do we address it? The media always reminds us we must not forget the instances of police excess or criminality. Fair enough. That's true. But how do we ensure that the intentional killings, the executions of police officers, aren't forgotten or accepted as part of a day's work? Joining us now to discuss is Renee Hall, former chief of the Dallas Police Department, and Sean Stix Larkin, retired lieutenant in the police department in Tulsa. Thank you both for joining us. Appreciate it. All right, Stix, let me just start with you because you and I have talked about this topic quite a bit. Why do you think that there is so little kind of broad outrage, right? People see an instance and they say, oh, that's horrible. Oh, that's terrible. Oh, that shouldn't have happened. Fair enough. But there's no sense of this broad outrage when you look at the big picture numbers and you say, this is happening more. Why?
You know, one of the things you said there is, the shootings of police officers, the murders of police officers, they're not tracked in a lot of the media. There is a website called the Gun Violence Archive, which actually does track this. And so far here in 2022, 19 police officers have been shot in the line of duty already, 5 of which are right there in your hometown, New York City. And that's just unacceptable. And, for me personally, what I think it is there's been so much anti-police commentary from a lot of influential people, whether they be politicians, athletes, people, musicians, actors, things like that. And so it's just acceptable right now for a portion of the population to have complete disregard for law enforcement and even to assault them.
Renee, I know this is an issue that hits very close to home for you. Your father was killed in the line of duty when you were 6 months old. Do you think that things, from your perspective, have gotten worse in terms of people's ability to focus on the families, the mothers, the fathers, the husbands, and the wives when it comes to law enforcement?
So let me start by saying my prayers go out to the Rivera family, NYPD, as well as Corporal Galloway and the Houston and Sheriff's Department down there in Texas. But what I will say is that I have seen this for nearly 50 years, and it is the same outcry or lack thereof when it comes to law enforcement. It is exactly what you said. It feels as if that when one of us or once a member of law enforcement is killed, that it is part of the duty. I personally don't see a difference, in light of George Floyd. In 1971, when my father was killed, between 71 and 73, you had approximately 94 police officers who were killed in that time frame. And there was no public outcry. There was no media frenzy. No one rallied around the community to say that there is, an all-out attack on law enforcement. And we're seeing the same thing today. And I want to say that we have to ask ourselves these questions. Is it that we have had such strained relationships with law enforcement in our communities over the years, or is it just an idea that it comes with the territory? And these are the questions that we need to ask our communities. We need to make sure that we're constantly asking those individuals who are lawmakers and politicians. And then we need to challenge what you're doing today is challenge the media. Is this a problem for you, and why? Why not, if we are not outraged?
Renee, let me ask you, you mentioned that you thought that this has been sort of a consistent problem. Again, you live this, right? So
Absolutely.
Let me ask it to you this way, which is, it feels, as a member of the media who follows law enforcement a lot, like things have gotten a lot worse. Like there's this sense of, almost that there's a fear of covering too much an officer who has died. Local media, I think, does quite a good job generally when it comes to local officers, et cetera. But big picture, when you listen to what Sean just said about 19 officers who've been killed in the line of duty, we're not even till the end of January. That means we're going to have some numbers. Hey, Sean, did you say shot or killed in the line of duty?
19 officers shot so far, and 3 of them have died in the line of duty by gunfire so far.
Okay, so it's 19 who've been shot, 3 who've been killed so far. So that'll probably put us about on track, whatever. The point is that the numbers have been disturbing, and the media tends to like numbers, right? When you can say something like the most since, the media loves that, right? The highest since. And yet when it comes to the most killing of police officers since 1995, there's relative indifference, Renee. I mean, it does seem things have gotten worse.
I think that when you look at it, and as you said, I've lived it. So I think that what we've seen is just a lot of issues around race and policing. And because we are in this country very sensitive and tiptoeing around race and policing, that there has been maybe the appearance. But I can tell you, as a daughter, a family member of a slain police officer, and 50 years ago, there was no outrage. There was no media coverage. And watching decade after decade after decade, when we look at the number of officers killed by gunfire in the decades, in the 1970s, 123, in the 1980s, 87, in 90, 68, to 2000s, 59, 2010. I mean, you continue even up to the 2020 when there was 54. There's been no outrage. There's been no media coverage. There's been no community coming and rallying together. So I think the problem, and we need to call it what it is that there is a breakdown in the relationship and communication between the police department and communities, and we need to end that. We need to, for once and finally, end this breakdown in the relationship, because we are mothers and fathers and brothers and sisters, and our lives matter. And the fact that over the years, police are hired to protect against violence and danger, and right now, and for decades, we have also had to ensure that police officers are protecting themselves against that same thing. But there's just not the outcry, and it has never been.
Really quickly, so well said. Really quickly, Sticks, we can't cover on this show, on a national show, every single officer that's killed in the line of duty, right? Because I'd be doing it almost every night on the show, and that's, of course, really depressing. But when we get a big-time number like the one that happened last year, it does seem that it's finally time to talk about it and say, what can we do? So, Sean, just real quick, in terms of what we can do, what can we do?
No, just as the chief there was saying, the relationship between the police department and the community, that's obviously the largest part of it. That's always been an issue. It was during my 25 years as a police officer. That's the focal point that needs to start at. But it's also, listen, we've got to hold these guys that are career criminals accountable. You and I have talked about it here on the show before. It's something you've discussed several times. These career criminals that are getting, in my opinion, slaps on the wrist after being caught with guns as convicted felons multiple times, still getting probation or getting sentences reduced. Major, major problem.
Oh, all right. Former Chief Renee Hall, it was so great to have you on the program. I really look forward to having you back on some other topics, and it won't hopefully be quite as upsetting as this one. I appreciate you taking the time, and Sean will be seeing you later in the show. Thank you for watching. Click the red subscribe button below so you can get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.